जब दुख की नदिया में हमने जीवन की नाव डाली थी, था कितना कसबल बाहों में, लहू में कितनी लाली थी। यूं लगता था दो हाथ लगे और नाव पूरम पार लगी। ऐसा न हुआ, हर धारे में कुछ अनदेखी मंझधारें थीं। कुछ मांझी थे अनजान बहुत, कुछ बेपरखी पतवारें थीं। अब जो भी चाहो छान करो, अब जितने चाहो दोष धरो। नदिया तो वही है, नाव वही, अब तुम ही कहो क्या करना है, अब कैसे पार उतरना है। I have often been told that my work would be hard to resonate with because of its intensely autobiographical nature. But I found that to be quite untrue. The work that I create resonates with people because it is so autobiographical. The images that I create, the faces that I make, the bodies that I create are of the ordinary bodies around me, of the women that I know, that I've seen, that live around me. And in creating those faces, I have given light to the very ordinary but extraordinary nature of female heroism.
And when you print on it or use the roller, the dots stay white.
I'm inspired by every female face I see around me and the stories that they each carry. Whenever I create, I go back to the medium of print because it is the single medium, I feel, that allows you to not only create mistakes but also own them in their entirety. It is an accident-prone medium, and when you make a mark on a surface, it remains there for as long as you recreate it, reminding you of the humanness of your creative process. And even after all these years, every time that I begin to create, I rush back to this medium because it embraces me and allows me to create with absolute abandon. In print, the mark you make forever stays. And slowly but surely, as a creator, you begin to embrace every human flaw that slips out of your fingers onto the surface. Every time that I'm beginning to create, I talk about different versions of women that I see around me and the acts that they commit. But more often than not, I find myself going back to the singular image of the women that have impacted my life, especially the image of my mother. The countenances, the shadows, the silhouettes of her face, of her body, of her existence. And no matter how far I deviate or detour away from this particular subject, I often find myself coming back to it with the same enthusiasm that I had the first time I laid that face onto a surface.
There's a lot of negative space in here, which would be augmented nicely with a darker paper, probably like a handmade one. Did a rendition of this, which was gold, black against gold. So the flower really stood out, the braids and the shine came through. It's just not the same in flat color, I think. Put up some stuff on the... It's sort of like an heirloom. It was my father's and then it was my sister's and now it's mine. So this is where I would write all the poems that have been finalized and they've gone through the process. So I have a couple of them in here. And then every time that I've finalized a poem, it goes back in here. And it becomes like a record.
The people that I take inspiration from are from my own life, from my family history, but also from every face that I see around me of the ordinary female doing extraordinary things. And I believe that every time I do create a female face, I'm shedding light on the idea that the female not only exists as a way for you to admire, to sexualize, to create a muse, but in fact the female exists in its ordinary form because in its humanness it commits the greatest acts of heroism. And that is what my work is all about. जब अपनी छाती में हमने इस देश के घाव देखे थे, था वेदों पर विश्वास बहुत और याद बहुत से नुस्खे थे। यूं लगता था बस कुछ दिन में सारी विपदा कट जाएगी और सब घाव भर जाएंगे। ऐसा न हुआ कि रोग अपने कुछ इतने ढेर पुराने थे, वह दिन की टो को पा न सके और टोटके सब बेकार गए। अब जो भी चाहो छान करो, अब जितने चाहो दोष धरो। छाती तो वही है, घाव वही, अब तुम ही कहो क्या करना है, ये घाव कैसे भरना है।